Hi everyone, we will start our live stream in 10 minutes, and for now we're starting with technical setup because we need to check if everything works because we stream to several platforms. So I'll be doing so. Okay, I'll check Telegram and YouTube and other platforms. So we'll start in 9 minutes. Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. We'll start in 8 minutes while we are setting everything up. Hi. So some platforms are working. Yeah, I can see it. So we'll start in 8 minutes. Hi, thank you for joining us. I can see that it works everywhere. So that's great. And we'll start in 8 minutes. Yeah, we'll start in 7 minutes. And while I'll double check the YouTube, if it works as well. Yes, I can see it. Our live stream is here as well. So, but the main channel will be our event page on LinkedIn. And I'm also streaming on my personal page as well, but the event page will be the main one because there are so many registrations there, and I hope you will be active. So while we are waiting, please share where are you now, where are you from. It would be interesting to learn more because usually on our live stream, people join, people connect from really different places, from European markets, from the US, from MENA region, from Latin America. So it's completely international audience usually. So it would be interesting to learn more about where are you from, where are you now. Yeah, I can see some comments. Hello, hi, hello, Olga and the team. Thank you. Hi, all. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Asif. Hi, Shakirat. Hi, please share where are you now while we are waiting, and we'll start in 6 minutes. In 5 minutes, actually. So we're starting soon. Okay, yeah, we'll start in 5 minutes. Thank you for joining. Please share where are you now. While we're waiting, I can actually start some music before we wait. I will start in 4 minutes. I will start in 3 minutes. And while we are waiting, please share in the chat where are you from, where are you based now. It would be interesting. Where are you now? Starting in 2 minutes. It's closer and closer. Yeah, I can see that some people, Rita connected from Oslo and Mustafa from Egypt. Yeah, great. Great from around the world. I'll check some other comments on the event page. Yeah, no more comments for now. And we'll start in 2 minutes. In 1 minute, actually. I can see there is Andrei from Alanya, Turkey. Yeah, on YouTube. Hi, Andrei. Yeah, and please share where are you now. It's interesting because we have a very international audience from different countries, different cities. So yeah, please share. So actually, it's already time to start. So I'll pause the music and we'll start. So thank you so much for joining me and our ModumUp social selling agency team for the webinar or LinkedIn live stream, or some of you joined on Facebook. So it's, on YouTube. So it will be a YouTube live stream for you. But the main platform is LinkedIn Live event. So today we are going to talk about how to enter the global market via LinkedIn. Of course, you can't enter any market using LinkedIn only. There are different channels, different approaches, different tactics you need to use. But we will talk about it in general and about LinkedIn specifically. What kind of LinkedIn activities you can do and what kind of best practices you can implement, and how your LinkedIn activities can be different from region to region, country to country. And I can see that we have Dmitry from UK, the UK. Hi, Dmitry. So yeah, please share where you now. It's interesting because our today's meeting is about international markets, about global markets. So I really wanted to attract international audiences to our event. Serbia, Irene from Serbia, great. And yeah, it would be interesting if you also share your observations on how to communicate in different countries, in different cultures today, because we will be talking about it a lot. And let's move. I will introduce myself a little bit. I'm Olga Bondareva, and I'm the founder of ModuMap, social selling agency, and I am I'm an agency owner for 6 years already, and I really love it. Love what we do. We do social selling. It's about personal LinkedIn profile development, but for B2B goals. And before that, I used to work for Microsoft, and there I was responsible for social media in Central and Eastern Europe region. And there I learned about not only like company profiles, but about personal profiles as well. And I first experienced how personal profiles can help you achieve business goals, especially in B2B, and how they can be helpful and even more effective than a company profile. That's why I became a real fan of personal profiles, and I advocate this topic so that it's important to leverage personal profiles of employees, key, for example, experts in the company's C-level executives and founders, of course. So it's a really powerful tool, like personal profiles. And what we are going to do today, we'll talk about the concept of global markets and that it doesn't exist actually, and what exists in its place, how to enter new markets in general, because there are a lot of let's say common things we can discuss about entering new markets. I'll share some LinkedIn best practices for entering new markets. I will share some case studies to show you how it actually works in different industries, on different markets. And we will talk about LinkedIn specifics by region, how LinkedIn audiences communicates in the US, in Latin America, in MENA region, in Western Europe, and what kind of different approaches work for each of these regions. So let's start with the global market concept and why it doesn't exist and what exists in its place. Usually when, for example, especially startup founders or some small business founders come to us, they say that we want to expand globally. We want to enter global markets, and of course, it's an ambitious goal, and I love love ambitions, and it's really great that you want to expand globally. You want to reach the whole world. But the truth is that there is no any, there is no just one whole single global market, because there are many different markets with their different specifics, and each market is unique, and it's impossible just to enter a global market at once, even if you have a very scalable product or service which is needed everywhere. Anyway, you will need to adapt to the local specifics, adapt your communication, adapt just everything, like sales, marketing, even product probably. And even large tech companies, they open offices everywhere. They actually try to develop like physical locations in different regions and hire local teams. Why are they doing so? Why? Because they have very scalable products and services, because it's needed. Each market is unique, and it's really important to adapt. And if, for example, here's the startup or a small business, of course, they don't have a lot of resources to cover the whole world, because it's a lot of investments. And for these kind of businesses, it's important to focus. Or actually, for any business, if you are, for example, expanding globally, you need to focus and choose one or several regions that will be your main focus. Because yeah, you will need to work on them, deep dive into the specifics, and adapt your strategies to each region. So, and of course, let's imagine you already choose the markets you would like to go to, you would like to enter. And the question is, why local audiences should choose you over local competitors? And it's very difficult questions because, of course, if you enter new markets and no one knows your products, your services, no one knows you yet. So, of course, they don't trust you from the beginning, and you need to earn this trust. And why should they choose you? Usually we have this several case studies where with the immediate great results, where, for example, our clients were significantly better than local competitors. But usually it's very hard to prove, and it's actually very rare. And even if it is true, it's really hard to prove. So it's difficult to show, and so I'm not sure that it will work for many companies. Or they will choose you if you are significantly cheaper than local competitors and offering the same quality. Uh, of course, it could work for businesses looking to cut costs. But first of all, how to prove that you offer the same quality? It's also very difficult. And about the cheaper prices, so probably you also don't want this. Yeah, if you enter new markets, you want to have a normal margin, you want to earn money, you actually want it. Of course, you can be cheaper. It's also a strategy. It's a very great working strategy if you want it, but still you have this barrier of trust anyway. On some markets, it's even you have even higher barriers if you are cheaper, because cheap usually means low quality. Yeah, so that's why you need to prove it. Or, for example, your products or services are so unique and they are not available locally on the local markets. And of course, in this case, potential clients, they will be looking for some solutions or services or something else on the foreign markets, and they will find it. But it's a rare case, but it's possible. Yeah, if you do something really unique, which is not available on the most markets, it will be very easy for you to expand. And if it's needed, because there are some products and services that are not needed on the markets, and that's why they are not so popular yet. But usually all of these three points are not the case. And what to do if it's not the case, or it's really hard to prove, for example, that you have a high quality, or you have a lot of great experience. It's really hard to prove because people usually trust someone they know, or they already know that they are, for example, some other companies worked on the local market, worked with this company, yeah, or for example, got their services or bought their products and they are happy, or they have some positive feedback. But if you are entering new markets, you just don't have all of it. And how to do it, how to prove that you are great, you have high quality products or services that can solve their problems and help them achieve their business goals. First option is to become local. It's a long process. You need to systematically nurture and build relationships with the target audience. And it takes at least a year to see some tangible results, like actual deals, some partnerships, etc. So, and here what's really important is that you can achieve like physical presence, that you're there on the market. For example, a founder or some representatives are on the market. They build their network, and even more important, they build friendships, because usually B2B segment, you know it, it's about not only formal relationships, it's a lot about your informal relationships with people and your friendship, because it works on word of mouth and people recommend each other. So it's really important. And this is a samurai path. So samurai has no goal, only a path. It's about more about process than the results. Of course, you have goals. Of course, you expect the results and you will achieve them, but it's a long process. But actually, it's important. It's important to go to do it, to go to these roads and achieve these results. And but of course, for startups it's demotivating. For large companies it's not surprising, because they already know that this is how it works. You need to establish trust and build a brand on the local markets and build relationships. But also there is another option. What you can do, you can partner with local companies, with local complementary, for example, services or products companies, and you can find them and become a available resource for them. So you can help them somehow, you can partner with them. And here's the example that, for example, if you have a software product or service, you can partner with some system integrators on the local markets. They already have some connections with large companies in your industry, and could be easier to do it through them. And if you can offer them something valuable for them, like win-win strategy and some really great partnerships where everyone can earn money. So in this case, it really works. But I would recommend to do both approaches, and it's important to find local partners and to build relationships with them, and on the same time, of course, build your brand and build relationships on the local market. A more strategic path and a more tactical one with partners. And LinkedIn can help you do it, help you do both, like build relationships with potential clients and also find new partners, attract them, and work with them on some, for example, joint projects with clients. How to do it? You can do it using a social selling methods. Social selling, this is what I'm a fan of, is about development of personal social media profiles, usually expert profiles or some other types of profiles, but it's important that it's personal profiles to acquire potential clients, partners, or even you can use social selling to acquire employees. But we are talking today about clients and partners in B2B, of course. And social selling is an approach which is based on lead nurturing. So how it works? You first find people you need on social media, for example, your potential clients or your potential partners or both. And you start connecting with them, sending them connection requests on LinkedIn from your personal profile. Then what you do, you post regular content to actually establish your personal brand and to show your expertise, maybe some case studies. And at the same time, you interact with these audiences. So you can put reactions on their posts, you can comment on that, and you can endorse their skills as well. Of course, it may sound strange that you endorse skills of people you don't know, but it works. And sometimes it helps to start the conversation in private messages. And then you can jump to private messages with them. You can do it in a soft way, for example, starting with some valuable content, inviting them to events or something else. Or you can try a direct to the point approach where you can just, for example, offer them your products or services and suggest to have a meeting to discuss. And you can test different hypotheses. We usually test both a networking hypothesis and direct to the point. And for some products or services, a direct to the point approach works better. But for other, only networking approach works. So it depends. And what kind of social selling mechanics you can use? Of course, you can create regular content, comment and react on the audience's posts. And the main channel is personal messages. And also as an additional but interesting tactic, you can use LinkedIn Live events like we are now doing. Because LinkedIn Live events, it's a great way to interact with the audience. It's very engaging. And so it's interesting experience. And I would like to tell you a little bit more on how social selling works in different regions. I would like to show you a couple of case studies from our agency work. And before I go to the case studies, I want to explain some terminology we have here. We have 3 stages. First stage is connection. It means that it's someone, a target audience representative, it's important, who actually accepted the connection request and became a part of your LinkedIn personal connections. Interest, we call interest the person, of course, it's also a target audience representative, who actually are really interested in your products or services, and they are asking questions, they are sharing their contact information, they are asking you to, for example, send something more, send me more information, send me your PDF presentation or something else. And lead is the person, also target audience representatives, with whom who is ready to have a call or meeting and discuss your products or services. And this call or meeting actually happened, right? Because, of course, sometimes they say that they are interested, they want, but they don't come. But it's a rare case. Usually they come. And I would like to share several case studies. First one is a case study from the US. And here we work with a machine learning laboratory and with the personal profile of one representative of this lab. And we work with his profile for 3 years already, but we were focused on personal brand building, personal brand developing. And only 3 months ago, we started lead generation activities. That's why I decided to show you the last 3 months results, because I think it's more relevant to our topic of entering markets, because entering markets, it's usually about lead generation, finding new clients, new partners. It's not just about building personal brand and that's it, right? It's usually about building connections and generating some meetings and calls. So what we've done in the last 3 months, we connect with research institutes and pharmaceutical companies, and we attracted quite many new connections in these segments. And we've got 43 interested target audience representatives, approximately 14 per month. It's according to our benchmarks, it's a good result. So it's on plan, goes on plan for one profile. And we attracted 11 leads. It's approximately 4 per month. So it's also a normal results according to our benchmark. And of course, during all of this 3 years, we've built a great personal profile of an expert in machine learning, and with some viral posts, with some lot of interactions. So, but in terms of lead generation, yeah, we have started getting leads just now, and even organized an on-site event for these potential clients, and it was nice, and it was very, I would say, soulful, and we'll continue doing so. So like inviting people on LinkedIn to the on-site small closed events, because it works really great in the US and Mexico as well, and some other countries. So the next case study is for Latin American markets, and Mexico especially, because we had most of the activity here in Mexico. And this project was for 11 months. And the target audience was marketing directors in FMCG and retail companies. And we attracted quite a lot of connections, and connection rate was quite high. For 43% of people approved the connection request. So the profile looked really great, and the audience was very active. And we attracted 183 interested target audience representatives. It means about 17 per month. And we've got, I can't actually see it here, but it looks like it's 51, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it should be 51 leads. I will open it separately. Yeah, 51 leads, approximately 4 per month. So, and we also built an expert profile with viral posts with 50K plus views, and started the newsletter. So, and actually on-site events also worked really great for this profile. Before we continue, I can check the comments if we have some additional comments, but I think we don't. If you have any questions or comments regarding what I'm talking about, yeah, please just let me know. I can see that we have some comments. People just introduced themselves. Yeah. Hi, David. Nice to see you. Yeah. So yeah, nice. Bachir, hi. So let's continue. So the next case study is about the MENA region. This is the fast delivery services company, and we work them for 9 months already. And their target audience is some C-level positions and head of logistics and e-commerce in retail and e-commerce segments. And we've attracted quite many connections with a high connection rate. They also connect with this person really actively, because he has a really great experience, a lot of regalia, and people trust him. And we attracted more than 200 interested target audience representatives, approximately 27 per month, and 187 leads, which is approximately 21 per month. And actually, here's the difference between this project and some other projects, and we can see that there are more leads for one profile than in the other projects. It's because it's a partner offer. So it's a win-win offer to potential partners to actually start earning together. And that's why it works much better in terms of number of replies and number of leads. So it always works this way, that partner offers, they give you more leads. That's of course, it's important also to work with two segments, potential clients and potential partners as well. And the next case studies, and the last one for today, and we'll continue with the other topics, is about cloud services provider in the Western European markets. And we work with this cloud provider for 9 months. And the target audience is the technical audience, so CTOs, DevOps, and some other technical professions. And of course, from tech departments or IT departments in different industries. And we also attracted quite many connections to the profile with a high connection rate. So people really love this profile. It looks expert, looks interesting, and they connect with this person. And we attracted about 271 interested target audience representatives, so about 30 per month, who were interested in potential work together, like being a partner or a client, because there we have two segments, potential clients and potential partners. And 58 leads, approximately 6 per month. It's okay for one profile. If you would like to expand these results, of course, you can develop several profiles, just not a profile of one person, because LinkedIn has its own limits for each profile. It limits, for example, the number of connections, number of connection requests you can send. So that's why one profile has a limited capacity. And if you'd like to get more leads, of course, you need to develop several profiles. And based on these case studies and our experience in general, I would like to just to say that, give you some recommendations on how to make your social selling activities more successful. It's important to narrow your specialization, because some companies, they want to do everything for everyone. It doesn't work this way. People on LinkedIn don't understand what you're doing, who you are, what you're expert in. It's important to narrow your specialization to become more clear for your audience. And of course, in this case, they will just stop procrastinating the answer, and they will answer to your messages because they just understand what you're doing. Very clear. Become local or partner with local companies, or do both. Actually, it's necessary. It's necessary if you're entering new markets where no one knows you, no one knows your brand. And actually, in these markets, for example, you don't have any connections, or really limited number of connections. You need to become local. It means physical presence. It means building your network, building relationships, and building friendship with people. And partner with local companies, of course, because they already have their client bases, they already have a lot of connections, and they help you if they find it also beneficial to work with you. And third thing here is to create expert content, because you need to show your expertise. It's really important to show your expertise, to build trust, build your network. Of course, as I said, it's about building relationships in the new markets. It's essential. And focus on long-term relationships and delayed sales. Why is it important? Because if you're entering a new market, you will experience the huge, I would say, huge barrier, because people will not trust you, and it's normal. It's normal that they don't trust you. It's nothing personal. It's just about they don't know you. They know nothing, and of course they prefer to work with someone they know, with someone they've got recommendation about, for example. So that's why it's absolutely okay. And the only long-term relationships could work, and sales will be definitely delayed if you are entering new markets. And also, I would like to share some LinkedIn specifics for different regions, because before that we were talking about some things in general, how to enter new markets, what kind of maybe tactics you can use, what you need to do, what kind of segments you need to work with. But now I would like to focus on different regions and tell you about some specifics we've noticed working with these regions. And I hope it will be helpful for you, because probably you're entering some of these markets. If you came to this webinar, or you're already working on these markets, I believe it will be still relevant. But first, the disclaimer that every country is unique, right? And it has its own characteristics, in its own specifics. And of course, it's important to deep dive and study them and respect them. And I've grouped several countries into some more high-level regions and made some general observations about them. And of course, it's maybe true, but it's important to remember that these are just high-level generalizations. And if you deep dive into a specific country, you can find something else. And there is a lot of specifics, a lot of details about each country. But we will go on a high-level way. So first, we'll talk about the US audience. on LinkedIn. And here we can say that there are quite many LinkedIn users in general, more than 100 million users, and active audience is 4 million. What it means? It means that on LinkedIn Sales Navigator, there is a filter posted in the last 30 days, so like in the last months. So we can check that there are 4 million people that post regularly, or at least they posted in the last month. But I check it from time to time, and I can see that this number, of course, it changes, but it's pretty similar to, for example, from time to time. That's why we can trust this information. And there are many companies with a local HQ in the US, 17 million companies. And what kind of specifics we've noticed in the US? So if you're entering this market, actually, I am personally, I've moved to the US 1 year ago. So I live in Texas, in Austin, and I can actually share it from my personal experience and from our agency experience with our clients, that it's important to actually, the main thing, your first priority should be building trust and long-term relationships with your potential clients or partners. You can start with networking messages, you can share some valuable content, and of course, organize some events and invite your audience. Even on-site events work great because we organize them for our clients. So we actually don't organize the on-site part, but we attract the audiences through LinkedIn to the on-site events. And it works really great. And these events are really warm and they help our clients build trust. What else is important? Use warm introductions. If you have some opportunity to use a warm introduction, just don't lose it, don't miss it, just use it. And ask your connection to introduce you to potential clients. Warm introductions, they mean a lot in the US market, so it's really important to use them. And also, what's important here is the US audiences, they start noticing you only when you consistently develop your LinkedIn profile. You create content on a regular basis. You share some practical information. You showcase your expertise and you show your personality. This is how they will start trusting you. It's based on the disciplined and systematic approach. And it's not about you just shared something once or run a short time campaign. It doesn't work this way. You need to work systematically in the long run. What's some other specifics we have? It's important to demonstrate a genuine interest in your potential clients, respond to their comments, and engage with their content as well, if they post, of course. It's also interesting that there are so many influencers in your professional topics in the US, and you can find these profiles on LinkedIn and some other social media platforms, and you can engage with these influencers. For example, you can start with commenting them and you will get some inbound connection requests after that. And if you create something relevant, like some relevant content, you can even mention them in new posts and invite them to speak at your events, because it's also about trust, that if you invite some influencers to your events, people start trusting you more. What else is important here is that don't expect quick results. I'm repeating it again and again, but it's really important. It's really important not to expect quick results. On average, it may take about a year to secure first deals if you do everything systematically. If you build relationships, create regular content, and you just work and work and work on a regular basis, using a disciplined and systematic approach. And with larger businesses, if your goal is to, for example, start working with large corporations in the US, this process may take even more, about 2 years or more. So yeah, really don't expect quick results. And if you have an experience of entering the US market, please share it in the chat, and we will, at the end of this meeting, I will continue with your questions, your comments, and we will discuss them. So I will check if we have some additional comments, and we will continue with some other markets. Okay, I can see that some people are introducing themselves, from the Sharon from the UK, yeah, George from Tel Aviv, Israel. Yeah, and we have some David is saying, very jealous, I love Austin. Yeah, I just moved to Austin. Yeah, let me know if you visit. So Ilya is asking, local content in local languages, or do we need to switch to English? So yeah, let me talk about that when we are going to discuss some other markets, like Latin American markets, for example, or European markets, because in the US, of course, it's English. The main language will be English. And Zalimhan is asking, does it make sense to contact the leads through email too, or LinkedIn is sufficient? I would say yes. Yes, email makes sense. On LinkedIn, you usually get higher reply rate. People reply more actively. On email, they usually miss your emails, or they don't reply. But it depends on the segment. So I would definitely test emails as well. So, and see how it works for you, for your business, because it can be different for different segments. I can see that David's comment, we market almost solely to the US and MENA customers, and I can confirm, working to convince people to use your product for EU infrastructure product, yeah, requires trust and belief in you and your team. Deal cycle 18 months at least. Yeah, this is how it works. Yeah, it's a long process. Thank you so much, David, for sharing. I appreciate it. It's a real practical information, because David is a great professional. Yeah, and he knows it for sure. And actually, I have this illustration, which for me represents the US market. So it's about that people in the US, in B2B and in B2C as well, they get so much spam on LinkedIn, by email, but by mail, usual mail, yeah, and everywhere, really everywhere, calls, and so just literally everywhere. Even some people knock to your door and start pitching some of their services. And that's why it's just crazy. They are overwhelmed with all of this information. That's why they only trust someone, for example, and buy if they know this person, or someone recommended this person to them. So, and that's why I believe it's about, like, become my friend first, and then we can talk business. So if they know the person, if they are kind of confident, and they believe in this person, in this case, they will start working with them. But if you just came and started doing something like cold outreach or something like that, it wouldn't work well in the US market. Yeah, you need to build relationships and warm up your audiences. This is how I see it, but it's based on our agency experience and my personal experience here, because I'm also entering this market. So let's jump to Latin American markets. And here also there are quite many users, the same number as in the US. On LinkedIn, it's 100 million users, but a little bit less active users. So it's 2 million plus. It was 4 for the US. It means that people post less actively, but still, they, believe me, they check their LinkedIn profiles, and they scroll the news feeds. So you can reach out to your audiences in MENA region on LinkedIn and get the replies. And there are 3 million companies with the local HQ in MENA region, also on LinkedIn. And what kind of specific we have here? following the comment from Ilya, from his question, I want to say that, yeah, it's important to speak local languages here. And for example, we compare the projects in Spanish or Portuguese with the projects in English. And we have higher response rate, we have higher number of leads if we speak local languages. Because of course, people on LinkedIn, especially in B2B segment, they usually know English, but it's not always the case. Sometimes they know, sometimes they don't. And it's just more comfortable for them to speak local languages. That's why, for example, we we have some bilingual people in our team, like Spanish native speakers, Portuguese native speakers, to proofread everything, so to actually check grammar, etc. So yeah, that's why it's important. But if you have only speaking English speaking people in your team, don't worry. Also try reaching out on LinkedIn, because you will get the results anyway. Just local languages, Spanish and Portuguese, they just can increase the connection rate, response rate and number of leads. But if you can work only on English, if this is your limitation, it's also okay. It's normal. You can do it in English as well. You will get the results. And it's important to show emotions, express positive feelings in private messages, in the content, and during calls, invest in small talk. It's really important. And for example, when we work with some clients, we work with some local sales representatives, and I can see what kind of messages they send. They send messages with some words like "dear," with some kisses or something like that, and that I was like, "Wow, what?" Two people they just met. It's about like cold outreach, and I was like, "Wow, is it how it works? You can talk this way with people you don't know." Of course, probably it's not everyone does that. Maybe we were just lucky to have this person in and worked with them, but still, it's the case. It happens, and people reply, and with quite warm messages. So that's why, yeah, it's important to be warm, soulful, and show emotions. And it's important to demonstrate your personality. Actually, it's important for the US as well, and actually for other markets, that you show your personality, not just your work, your experience. Share photos, videos, and some interesting stories, right? Like personal, inspirational stories, because people need to trust you personally as well. They want to find some maybe common topics to talk about. They want to feel related. For example, they have kids and you have kids, you have similar problems and topics, or they have dogs, pets, or some other cats. You also have them, so you have some topics to talk about, or you have some similar hobbies. It always helps to continue the communication, helps to make it more, I don't know, informal, more human, and build trust. That's why it's really important to share your personality. And even on LinkedIn, people have this stereotype that LinkedIn is a professional social media platform. But during COVID, the situation has been changed. And on LinkedIn, people post personal content very often. Of course, sometimes it's connected to work, sometimes it's not, but still, it's important to express yourself and show your personality. So what's some other specifics for Latin American regions we have? Actually, it's very important. I've named it Just Call. It's about if, for example, your prospect shares their phone number with you, don't waste your time trying to schedule a call, to choose a time slot which is best for everyone. Just call. Actually, we made this mistake with some clients because, for example, some of our clients from different cultures, like from European cultures, for example, it's not comfortable for them. They can't just call. They need to pick a time slot, agree on it, put it to the calendar, and then at the agreed time, just have this call or meeting. And I'm the same. I'm on the same page with you. So I'm also very, very uncomfortable just calling. And I'm very uncomfortable when someone calls me suddenly, right? I always want people to, I don't know, first to discuss it with me, choose the best time, and then have a call. But it's not the case for MENA region. If you try to choose a time slot, you will probably, your messages will be just ignored after that. So if they shared their number, just call. And switch to WhatsApp. It's also an interesting specific of the region that they love WhatsApp, and it's really easier to get the response in WhatsApp. So you can, for example, start on LinkedIn and then ask for their number to continue the conversation on WhatsApp, because they will reply more actively there, and this is the best channel for a, I would say, more like long-term communication. Of course, LinkedIn can be a start, but then WhatsApp, it's more reliable for communication with Latin American audiences. And of course, connect in person. It's also important to organize on-site events, for example, or attend some other, like some conferences, and ask people to meet during these conferences. So on-site activity is very important. And actually, it's important for every region, every country. This is how it usually works. And I would say that about this region, that they are very open, curious, friendly, and ready to talk. Of course, if you're also open to them and you are emotional, you are warm, you're nice, yeah, they will want to talk to you. And I will check some questions. Do we have any additional questions here before we continue with other regions? Or maybe someone shares their experience. So David shared big companies. It's about lots of procurement hoops. Yeah. So, and some difficult processes. Yes, working with large companies, it's difficult. Yeah. And long-term partnerships work. For example, 10 plus years partnerships in some case. Yeah, this is how it works. That's true. Sometimes it's really difficult to imagine for example, for startups, but for other companies, for example, large and medium companies, it's just a normal way how it works, that you need to build relationships and your deal cycle is 1 year or more. So let's go to the MENA region. We actually started discussing it a little bit in the comments. And if you have experience in MENA region, please share. It would be really interesting to learn your perspective, learn your experience on that. So there are a little bit less number of users on LinkedIn in MENA. It's 72 million, and there are 1 million active users and 1 million plus companies located in MENA region. Of course, it's less than in the US and Latin American regions. It's a smaller region, but still it's a very interesting and promising region in terms of budgets, in terms of companies, brands, so you can build business here. And what kind of specifics we've noticed here? Of course, building relationships, very important here. And it's crucial to focus on building authentic connections, nurturing relationships, providing value, and without expecting immediate sales, as usual, right? We talk about that a lot, that we don't expect immediate sales on new markets. If you do some new campaigns, for example, run something new on the existing market where you already have products or services, your brand is well known, so of course you can expect faster sales. But if it's a new market, it's not about immediate sales at all. And the second thing here is you can demonstrate why you should be trusted. Actually, Regalia makes a lot of sense here, And you can, for example, highlight your previous experience, especially if you have some well-known brands in your career, some of your credentials, interesting results, facts about you. So you need to prove that you're great enough, cool enough to work with. And of course, it's important to show your personality. It's the same for actually for every region, that people trust people, not just your expertise. They need to trust you personally. And WhatsApp works great here too. And if you have this opportunity to move to WhatsApp, yeah, just take it, do it. And in person connections are powerful as well. So yeah, it's important to connect. And for example, we use some large conferences in MENA region to connect with potential clients, for our clients. For example, we work with a cybersecurity company, and they love GITEX. GITEX is a large conference in MENA. It's a tech conference, and there are so many companies attend this conference, and they have their booth there. So, and our clients, they always attend this conference, and sometimes they have booths, sometimes they just attend. But what we do, we help them build their network there. So we find people who are going to the conference, we communicate with people during the conference, and we follow up with them after the conference. So this is what you can do, because in MENA region, there are so many large and interesting industry events you can attend or speak at or have a booth. So it depends on your budgets and your goals. So, but it's a great way to connect with people. And for me, it's my impression that here you need to prove, are you impressive enough to work with this region or not? Because yeah, it's important to be impressive for them. So before we jump to the next region, so I will check the comments. Maybe we have someone who has experience in MENA region and they shared it or disagree or something like that. So I can see the question from Zelim Khan: for the professional services like consulting and outsourcing, how critical is it to be physically present in the region in general and in the US specifically? Oh, this is a great question, because I believe that for professional services, it's even much more important to be present physically on the market comparing to some products. Because for products, it's just easier, because you can just show the demo, they can just register and try, and for example decide whether it's I don't know, it's valuable to them or not, whether it's useful or not. But for services, it's different. And usually people, it doesn't matter if it's a large company or a small business, they need, if they start working with someone in the services business, they need to trust these people a lot. And that's why it really helps a lot to meet in person, and in the US specifically, because as I mentioned already, in the US there are so it's so much spam, and people trust you only if they met you and they like you personally as a human being. That's why, yeah, it's really important, I believe. Of course, there are some services that can work like products. For example, design. Yes, you can just show some design examples, and especially if some clients recommend you to this potential client, of course they can start working with you. But if your services are difficult to show, and like our services, social selling services, of course we show our clients case studies. They can talk to our clients, they can get some recommendations from them. It's available, but still it's it's important to them to know the person, to talk, for example, with me, to understand my approaches, and trust me personally as a human, not only as a an agency representative, as a professional. That's why, yeah, I believe that for services it's even much more important. Or, for example, we have some clients in software outsourcing, and it's a very difficult industry because competition is so high, and people don't trust new companies they don't know usually, because it's a lot of offering on the market. And on LinkedIn you probably get this spam almost every day with some additional, some another outsourcing company which wants to sell you some software developers or something like that. So it's crazy. That's why people usually work with those who they trust, and it's based on personal relationships or recommendations, like really warm recommendations. So let's continue with the next region. So the next region is Western Europe. Here, of course, Western Europe is really different, is very complex. And we have 79 million of users from Western Europe on LinkedIn, and 4 million active users. It's actually a lot comparing to the total number of users. The same number of active users and as in the US, but less total number. So the European audience is very active. And companies with local HQ, we can find 25 million companies. So it's also a lot of companies. And this region is very promising. And it's important that actually European markets, they vary significantly from one another. I started actually from the point two because it's very important. And they are different. That's why what I'm saying, like some generalization, they are maybe irrelevant for some countries, but maybe relevant for the others. So that's why it's important to learn the specifics of each country you would like to focus on and prioritize using local languages. Of course, on LinkedIn, European countries representatives, of course, the most of them speak English. But if you speak local languages, they would appreciate it. Or even if you just use some words like hi in local language, or bye, or thank you in local language, they will appreciate it, that you are trying, at least you are trying to use some local language. So what's important? Be polite and avoid being pushy. It's about so in the US market, for example, the communication, the spam is very pushy. In Europe, people have really negative feelings about it, and they try to protect themselves from this, and they disapprove this pushy communication, this spam. So that's why be very careful. Start with networking messages, share valuable content, and invite to some of your events. And of course, if you feel that they are interested, you can continue with follow-ups. But usually we send less number of follow-ups comparing to other countries because people really feel uncomfortable with that. And of course, you know that in Europe there are a lot of like different regulations, legislation according to private data protection, like GDPR or some other regulations. And it's important to honor the privacy of your potential clients and don't not to spam them if they don't want it. So they are really protective about their like personal messages, their email channels, and they feel uncomfortable if you are spamming them. So just respect it. Yeah, respect it, and try to be more careful, try to be more polite here. And how would I explain it? This region that know the rules and respect them, because there are a lot of rules, a lot of specifics for European regions, and it's important to actually to show that you respect them, you don't spam them a lot, and you are trying to be helpful, and you don't mean to be too pushy, for example. So yeah, if you have some experience in Western European markets, please share, because of course markets are very different, and you can get different replies, but there are some generalizations we've noticed. I'm checking the comments here that David is sharing his experience in MENA region. Yeah, and he's saying that you need to refer to someone they respect in their industry. So many doors open if you can get this introduction. Yeah, actually, coming back to MENA region, we even connected to the royal families there. And when people, for example, in B2B, they saw that our clients has some mutual connections, and they can see that there are some royal families representatives in their connections, the connection rate increased. So people saw that, wow, it's not just a person like on LinkedIn, it's someone who knows or at least is connected with someone from royal families. Yeah, it really works great. And Zalim Khan has a question. Which AI platforms did you use to create this AI pictures? Yeah, thank you. It was created in Midjourney, most of them, and a samurai picture in the beginning. If you remember it, it's about a samurai path. I've done it in ChatGPT because now ChatGPT also can create pictures, and I even canceled my Midjourney subscription because of that. So because I really don't need it anymore. So and just following, like wrapping up what we already discussed about the entering new markets, about some local specifics, I want to say that if you are going global, become local. It's really important to adapt to each country you're entering. It's important to learn their specifics. It's important to adapt your communication. And of course, only if you, for example, follow this path, I would say samurai path, and you disciplined, and you have this systematic approach of building relationships and adapting to the local learning and adapting to the local culture. This is how you will succeed, but it really takes time to succeed. And at the end of our webinar, I would like to recommend a book. It's called The Culture Map by Erin Meyer. Erin is an American who lived or probably still lives in France. And she has a model of how different cultures, different countries, they differ from each other based on several scales. So probably you heard about like peach cultures and coconut cultures. This is from this book, but there are many more differences, many more characteristics you can learn and understand. And I worked at Microsoft in Central and Eastern Europe region, and I was responsible for social media in 33 countries. And I worked, of course, with the colleagues in the US as well, in Germany, and in some other European countries. And actually, I learned this book after Microsoft. I've read it when I already started my agency, when I already worked in my agency for several years. And I really regret why I didn't read it before, because it would be much easier for me to communicate with people, to adapt to different regions and culture. Of course I did. I succeeded in it, but it would be it would be much more easier with this book. So I really recommend this book to you if you are entering new markets, or you live, for example, you move to some other country and you're adapting, or this is your plan to move to a new country, or to to enter it with your business, or for example to build an international career. So I would really recommend reading this book, and I'm glad that I finally read it. And it helps. Of course, sometimes you disagree with something because I have some different observations, but in general, it's a very, very useful book. And at the end, I would like to invite you to connect with me if we are not connected yet. On LinkedIn, I'm Olga Bondareва. You can find me by my name, or I have a link here. It's a small one, but probably we have we actually we have it for sure in on our LinkedIn Live event page, so you can find it there. And if you have any questions, comments, or ideas or requests on our social selling services, you can just reach out to me via my email, Olga at modumup.com. So thank you so much for being with me today. And thank you, special thanks to everyone who shared their experience, who asked questions. Your experience and questions are very valuable, and I really appreciate it, appreciate your activity. So thank you, and I hope it was useful. Good luck with your efforts on entering new markets. And I will check if we have some questions or not, or maybe comments. So I can't see any new comments. I will check on different sources because we are streaming to YouTube, LinkedIn, Telegram, actually. So, and that's why I'm double checking everywhere. Do we have any questions? So Vlad is saying that entering new markets, it's not only the strategy, it's about understanding cultural differences. Yeah, small nuances, they give you just a huge difference. Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. So thank you so much. And we are finishing for today, and we organize this kind of event regularly. So just keep posted, follow me or our agency page, and you will notice new announcements for the new events. Probably, usually we organize them every 2 months. So see you soon. Bye.